More.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sippin' Sports. For some context, if it looks like we're sitting in the dark, we are. We are pre-recording this on Thursday night, July 11th, releasing it to you guys Saturday morning, as always, at 10 a.m. So the Phillies just swept the Dodgers. We'll get to that in a second. Super duper exciting. We're going to preview the A's series here in a second as well. Definitely a lot for us to discuss. But first, KJ McCoy coming back to the show. Chris can't be with us tonight. But KJ, good to see you back, man. How are you?
It's great to be back. And obviously, as Dalton said before, I mean, this is kind of going to be a little weird because you're going to be like, why are these guys in the dark? Well, that's because, I have to I'm going to be out of the country for a little bit, but I'll be back. Don't worry. So I just thought, you know what, we should pre-record. I haven't been on the pod for a little while, so I do owe you guys an appearance. So I miss you guys. So, but as Dalton said before, though, the Phillies, they got the sweep on the Dodgers. They did. Let's go. Oh, man. Was that a game? Yes, it was. I mean, did you see that last homer that happened, Dalton? I don't know if you saw that or not.
I didn't get a chance because I was making the graphics for this, but I saw that they swept, and I was hyped up.
Kyle Schwarber thought it was a foul ball, and he hit this one, and it was I guess he hit it it was like right field. And it was funny because a guy with a Harper colored, like a Hawaiian shirt on and Harper all over and stuff like that. But he was trying to catch the ball and he dropped it. And his little kid, like his son, wanted the ball. And the kid starts crying. You just see the kid smacking the dad. And he's so upset. He's crying. But then you see like 5 minutes later, then like one of the ushers comes over and they give him a ball. And I was like, oh, that's what it's all about right there. So that was pretty cool. That was super cool. And I mean, kudos to the Phillies usher for getting that done and realizing that the kid wanted a baseball and he got one. So, but it was a great win, great convincing win. The Dodgers are a great team to sweep. I mean, it's not like Shohei Ohtani was hurt because he was healthy. He was playing. He just wasn't playing I would say this. Yesterday, he had a great game. He had 2 RBIs, I believe, or I think it was the day before he had another RBI. So that was great to see him for the Dodgers. But it's even better, though, what I mean. The Phillies, convincing. I mean, what a convincing win they had today. It was a nail-biter last night, got it done. And then the day before, I mean, they smoked the crap out of the Dodgers 10-1. So that was great to see. And, I mean, you could also say this, too. Wow, what a performance. I mean, this is just insane to see the spark that Trey Turner has brought to this team. I don't know if you've seen this, Dalt, but Trey Turner's been on fire. He's been insane. He hit a homer last night he hit a homer. He hit a grand slam game 1. And then today he hits a homer this game. So it's been awesome to see him actually pay off. I mean, we paid him so much money. I mean, about obviously last season when we got him. So, I mean, this is the performance we wanted from him, and it's great to see him do it against his former team. It really is.
Yeah, he really stepped up when we needed him to throughout Schwarber and Harper's departure there for a little bit with their injuries. I don't think if this team had Trey Turner, they would have went around 500 like they did with both those absences. So I think that just speaks volumes about the talent that he is and kind of how he's locked in as a player and found himself here in Philadelphia, which is so important. It's not easy to relocate, change your entire, how do I want to put it? Change a time zone, let alone, but then change your entire approach to things. That's not easy at all. So the fact that he's able to do that so quickly and adapt like that, I think really just shows the kind of player he is. So I love Trey. I'm with you on that. I think he's really, I don't even want to say evolved because I feel like that would be disrespectful. He's already that player, but like his approach maybe has evolved this year. And there's definitely a difference in the success level too. Same with the daycare. They're all growing up. I don't even know if it's fair to call them the daycare anymore. We might have to call them the teenagers or the freaking
Older, man. They're getting
kids
older.
or something because they're all starting to grow up. They're finding their way. Speaking of tonight, Brandon Marsh, great game. I think went 2 for 4, had a homer. So he's leveled up as a player this year. Alec Boehm is leveled up as a player this year.
Bryce Stott hit a home. I think it was either today or he hit one.
I think it was 2 games ago. Yeah.
No, I think
He in the
today.
game that they won 10-1 or something.
I'm pretty sure he hit one today. I can double check, but I'm pretty sure he did hit one. Let me check play by play. No, it wasn't. No, so it was Turner who hit a homer. That was in the first inning. Then Marsh hits a homer to right. And then the other scores, Marsh tripled to right, Castellanos scored, Rojas single to left, Marsh scored, Schwarber, I saw that happen. It was a homer. That was a solo shot. So that was great. And I mean, the only run for the Dodgers was that guy Lux, and that was all he got. It was a solo shot for them, but they got to go to Detroit next. So we'll see what happens with the Dodgers. But I mean, the Phillies have 61 wins. I mean, that is just crazy to say that. I mean, right now, usually we're struggling. We're usually just trying to just get in the wild card or whatever and just get ourselves in there. But we don't have to fight for it anymore, which is awesome. I mean, it's honestly relieving because the year that we made it to the World Series, I don't think people even realize this. We were like a game away from not even making the playoffs. So to even get in was extraordinary. It was awesome. And then we got in and then we used that momentum and then we rode that wave. So, hey, I mean, it's getting closer and closer. I mean, they got the record right now. I mean, 61 wins, the most. I mean, they're the best team in baseball right now. They just got to keep it up. And I think they will.
Yep. So pretty much what this all had me thinking about and this Sixers uniform was the fact that this city, these 3 teams specifically are all top 5 contenders for a championship in their sport respectively. When you look at the Phillies, they're probably no doubt the favorite. Then after that, I would say it's the Eagles with the addition of Saquon Barkley, that monster offense that they're going to be running this year. And the Sixers with Paul George, a lot of people I'm seeing are saying that they're a top 5 contender right on that 5 to 7 range, betting wise, prediction wise, all of that next year. So how refreshing is it, that we have 3 teams right now that are all contenders in their sport respectively, all entertaining, all have players that, aren't just good players, but guys that we resonate with off the field. Like if you see them in the grocery store, you can ask them for a photo and they're not going to freak out. They're going to be honored. Look at Bryce Harper. So, Philadelphia sports fans, what I'm trying to say is bask in this moment. Enjoy it with your family because it's not going to last forever, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All good things must come to an end. I was
know
thinking
that
about the 2014 to like 2016 era of Philly sports. That was a tough time. Then you look at the Eagles coming out of nowhere. Nobody predicted the Eagles out of all teams to win a Super Bowl, and then they did, and they kind of got more respect on their name as far as the city goes. So somebody's going to do it. If one of these 3 teams don't do it, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
If the Phillies don't do it, I'm going to be disappointed. Hypothetically speaking, I would say there's like a 35% chance we come out of this with 2 different championships. I think that's pretty good odds, if you ask me.
I mean, yeah, you got a good point for sure. I mean, obviously, the Eagles, the Phillies, and the Sixers, they all do have a chance to get a championship. They do. The problem is, though, we've had chances. We've blown them a lot. So, I mean, that's the problem. And it seems like there's always that mistake. I was just thinking about this today. It's crazy to think this. I mean, both the Eagles and the Phillies were mistakes away from winning. You could say World Series and, well, getting into the World Series. For the Phillies, it's last year. I really feel like it is because with the Diamondbacks, I mean, when Craig Kimbrell had that, I mean, that massive choke that he had where I was at, I mean, I don't know if you were, Dolt, but I don't know if you could hear me. We were both at Camden Yards when this happened. I was booing the crap out of Craig Kimbrell. And I was saying, and it was funny because there was Philly fans in this section too, and they were cracking up. They were like, yeah, listen to this guy. Listen to this guy. Because I was saying, I was like, Craig Kimbrell, Philly, I came all the way just to call your ass out. Came all the way here to call your ass out. We didn't forgive you. We didn't forgive you because we would have won the World Series. But thanks to you, you don't have a ring, and we don't have a ring. So that's what happened. So I let it out. That's what
You
happened.
let out your inner
Yeah,
Philly
I let
captain,
it out,
your
and
inner haggler
it felt
of a
great.
true Philly fan.
Yeah, and I
Shut
think
up, Philly captain.
also the thing to go back with the Eagles was, if you think about it too, Jalen Hurts, if he doesn't fumble that football in the Super Bowl, we're champions. We're on Broad Street. I'm probably streaking on Broad Street, going crazy, going on the lamppost and everything like that. It'd be insane. But yeah, it didn't happen. So, I mean, that's the bad part. We were 3 points away. So it's just like, it's always so close. But I do feel like, though, we had the nail on the coffin. I hope I don't offend any people there. Well, they're dead. So I can't really offend any dead. Okay. But what I mean by that is, yeah, we have the nail ready, but like, we just got to hit it with the hammer. And that's all we got to do. And I think once we do that, I mean, like, obviously, like, I mean, once you get over that hump, and I think the Phillies know what to do. I think this team, they have the whole chemistry with this team right now. They have the same. They only changed a couple moves. They only got rid of a couple players, but they weren't really like actual like stellar players. They weren't like big losses that we got, like that we lost. We didn't lose any like pinpoints to our roster. I really don't think we did. So that's a good thing. We still have Schwarber, not Cassian, still have Harper, Trey, all those guys. Yeah, with the Sixers too, I mean, it's good that they're honestly they got rid of the problem obviously, and that was Tobias Harris. So that's honestly that's a great reset button I think for the Sixers, and also it does make them um a contender. I think it does. But it's tough though when you see how dominant of a team the Boston Celtics are. So that's where I'm a little bit like the Sixers, it's going to be tough because the East is tough. The Celtics are tough. I feel like Milwaukee might be tough as well if they can be healthy, if Lillard can be healthy, if Giannis can be healthy. So with the Sixers, it's going to be tough. But the Phillies, I think, out of all the teams, they they are right there. And if they were in that World Series last year, like they should have been, they would have beat the Texas Rangers. There's no doubt. They would have beat the Texas Rangers. And I know it bothers us. It bothers the heck out of me going to sleep at night, just realizing, like, dude, we would have been that World Series game last year. And we would have won it because the Rangers, look at them now. The Rangers are horrible. They are awful. And it's honestly like just like how is a team that just won a championship this bad? So, but yeah, I mean that's what I think about it, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, one of these teams does it. But you know what though, if they don't do it, it's the story of Philadelphia, kids. It's the story of Philadelphia.
And stay tuned too for Caleb Martin. I was gonna say
Yeah,
the Celtics killer, because maybe that will change
yeah.
the
I feel
story
like they're getting
of
enough piece. They're
Philadelphia.
getting some pieces. It seems like Morey is honestly he's done his homework, and it seems like he's getting those pieces that can honestly compete with the Celtics. And we'll see what happens. I mean, we still got a lot of time, and only time will tell.
Yeah. So something I wanted to talk about, a little bit of a side note. We talked about it on 302 Birds this week, but The Wilmington Blue Rocks are a minor league team that exists, I believe now owned by, is it
Kansas.
the Royals, KJ?
I think it's Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check.
Yeah, it is the Royals. They sold. We
Is
were
it?
talking about
Okay.
that last night
They
too.
were part of the Phillies at one point, but it was a little
I
while
never
ago.
knew. I knew the Nationals too.
They were years ago. Yeah.
That would have been crazy. I would love if they became a part of the Phillies again, because that was what me and Tom were talking about too. That
Yeah.
for Tom, they're his local team, is what he said. I said, are they your favorite team? Nah, they're not my favorite. That would be the Reading Fighting Phils.
Yeah,
Or,
because it's part of it. So it's
and I
like,
get it. That's
yeah,
who's his, farm system.
yeah.
But the Blue Rocks could have had an insane upgrade. They were looking at potentially putting a $10 to $15 million investment into
Wow.
Frawley Stadium. If you guys don't know, Frawley Stadium exists on the Wilmington Riverfront, down in Wilmington, Delaware. And Frawley Stadium sits pretty much right off 95. And it's a beautiful stadium, but this would have really just taken it to the next level. So they were actually kicking around and mulling around adding a triple decker beer garden where they would have had 3 stories that fans could have sat. You can see it right there
Is
as
that a
the
boat
right
too?
field bar and grill. And they were also talking about potentially adding an 18th century ship. So
Oh,
the ship
shit.
is
Wow.
somewhere on the riverfront or something, or they were going to bring it back. They didn't really kick it around, but they were going to restore a ship of some sort and bring it in so that it could be like a prop. And the immediate thought of mine is, holy shit, it is Raymond James Stadium in
Yeah.
Wilmington, Delaware. It's
Yeah. A
literally the Tampa
little
Bay
different.
Buccaneers Stadium in
Yeah.
Wilmington, Delaware. So it's going to be crazy if they actually do this, because the key to note, too, if you guys haven't seen, in the top right there, they did come out and say they still would like to do it, one of the co-owners said, in the future. So this is being kicked around. It's being talked about. It sounds like
Right.
it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So go to Blue Rocks games if you guys aren't. Go support the team, because one thing that I said to Tom too is, I said, Tom, it's minor league baseball.
Yeah.
Nobody really cares all that much. Like, I'm just going there to have a good time.
Yeah.
And also, there's a Chicky and Pete's there. It's technically the only Chicky and Pete's in Delaware. So
Oh my
I will be
gosh.
there. Definitely. I know
You
I'll
and
be
my
there on
sister, I
Sunday,
swear.
tomorrow, when you guys are
Yeah.
watching this, because Alyssa will be doing the first pitch. I thought it was Tuesday. I got that wrong. It's actually Sunday.
Oh, is it
So,
Sunday? All right.
yeah. So it should be
I'm
fun. And I'm
still
going to try to get a
excited.
hat of some sort of the
Oh,
celery
nice.
man. That's on my list of to
Oh, that'd
dos.
be cool, dude. That would be cool.
So I'm declaring myself a Blue Rocks fan now, because
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I'm from
I think
Delaware. I
that's
have to.
fine. I think that's fine. I mean, I was talking to my good buddy Mikey D about this actually, because he actually has a minor league team up where he lives, up in Scranton, and it's the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders, and they're affiliated with the Yankees, and he's a Yankees fan.
Oh, that's
But it's funny
perfect.
because my good friend Rome, who's best friends with him too, he actually is from there, but he's a Phillies fan. But his favorite team is the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, because yeah, that's the Phillies affiliate. So I think a lot of people like their favorite minor league teams. I mean, I don't think it should be a rule to be like, oh, my favorite minor league team isn't really affiliated with my favorite team. Like you could be like, I guess for instance, yeah, the Wilmington Blue Rocks. Yeah, I'm a Blue Rocks fan, but then I'm a Phillies fan. So I don't see a problem with that really, because like if you think about it too, I mean, I don't know if I told you this, Dolt, but a current Philly right now play for the Blue Rocks. I don't know if you knew this.
Yeah, you texted me it, and when
I
I
did.
saw it, it shocked me a little bit. Why don't you tell everybody?
Matt Strom actually played for the Blue Rocks, I found out. And I was looking through his Instagram. I was just looking through it. And I was like shocked because like I just wanted to see what teams he played for before. I knew he played for the Padres, and I was just like, I want to make sure he did play for I think it was like another team. I forget what team it was. But then I noticed on the bottom, I was like, wait, he played for the Wilmington Blue Rocks? I'm like, holy crap, how funny is that? Like he can just go visit his minor league stadium, go down 95 and go get some nostalgic vibes over there at the Frawley Stadium. So I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, like if he could be able to, I mean, if the Phillies can actually get a World Series this year, I will tell you this. I think some Wilmington Blue Rocks fans, if there's any super fans out there, they're going to be really happy for Matt Strom, a Blue Rocks alum. I think they'll be ecstatic for him, for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. We got to go to a Blue Rocks game, you and me. I
You
know that I'll
should.
be
That'd be
going to a
fun, man.
bunch, but that would be a great
Yeah.
vlog to film. The food there, it's a good atmosphere. It's right
Yeah.
on the riverfront. The riverfront's beautiful. I think that the Blue Rocks are making a comeback. Um, Jack was talking about it last night, just about how the attendance hasn't been there as it should be, and I think that that's going to change soon. I
Yeah,
think
hopefully it
every
does.
business took a little bit
Yeah,
of a
it's
dip
it's always
with
tough, I
COVID.
feel like, in minor league baseball. It's always tough, and especially in minor league sports, it's always tough to get a crowd, and, I mean, these are always in smaller towns too, so I think with Wilmington, it's really gotta be like, I think for them, it's gotta be like a family kind of event there, so hopefully more families get to go to the games, get to have a good time, get to experience baseball, so that's what it's all about with these minor league teams, and people don't realize, like, I mean, even though like it is the minor leagues and stuff like that, like it can still be fun and you can still
Yeah.
have a good time.
And get Chicky and Pete's there. So stay
Yeah,
tuned.
yeah, that's what Dalt's
You're
worried
also
about,
going to be
guys.
able to
Yeah,
get Chicky and Pete's when you tribute some greatness, rocking your
yeah,
Sixers Tyrese Maxey throwback. I mean, absolutely amazing,
yeah,
exciting. KJ McCoy. We saw the slam leaks. I mean, we took a week off for some context. So
yeah,
we weren't here on the 4th of July. And we find out that these uniforms are coming back. We start leaked, I should say, from
yes.
Slam. We don't know if it's just for a photo or not. And then a Sixer source says these are coming back. They definitely won't be back next year, but we're looking to bring them back the following season. How excited are you that somebody confirmed and they're bringing these back?
I'm pumped. I will tell you this. I won't believe it till I actually see it. But I'll tell you this. I really knew that when I saw that jersey right away, I kind of got some feeling like, okay, like that's like a custom made Mitchell Ness jersey because
Yep.
there wasn't an NBA patch on the back of the jersey. Because that's what you're going to notice, which is going to be different than the actual ones that Iverson wore. Um, I mean, the ones that with Iverson wore, obviously, it had the NBA patch right here on the right. I think the right side, I'm pretty sure. But it didn't have it on the back like it has now. But now you got the crypto.com logo, you got the Nike logo right there as well. So it's going to look a little different, but hopefully it's going to still keep those have that same nostalgic vibes that I mean we used to have when Iverson was rocking it, Iguodala. I mean, that was a crazy time. I mean, Iguodala was back in '04, so that was a little bit later. But I think these jerseys though really represent that year of '01 where they made it to the finals. They won game one. Iverson, he steps around Lou. What a play! That was legendary for sure. But yeah, I cannot wait for these jerseys. I feel like honestly, I mean, the Kelly Green jerseys. I mean, obviously, you see the stadium; it was covered in Kelly Green jerseys. I mean, even when it wasn't a Kelly Green game for the Eagles, you would still see people wearing the Kelly Green jerseys. So I think with this, you're going to see way more people wearing and bringing back out their black '01. I mean, I guess you could say throwback Iverson jersey kind of. Yeah, Iverson jerseys, I guess you can say. Because I pretty much call them the Iverson jerseys because I feel like they really represent what Iverson did that year in 2001, bringing them to the finals. I mean, it's a jersey you have to bring back. You have to. It's one of the best jerseys I feel like in the NBA, in NBA history. It just has that kind of feeling to it. I mean, when you put that jersey on too, it's just it also makes you just feel like I heard that they actually the whole like making of the jersey, they actually tried to base it off like Harley Davidson, which is crazy to think about it. They tried to make it tough and whatever, and they put the black coloring to it. So they tried to make it like a tough jersey, like for motorcycle. I guess for like just like hardcore guys, even though obviously motorcyclists. I mean, I don't know any that go to basketball games. Maybe they do, but they tried to base it off that. But I cannot wait till they bring these back. It'll be awesome. But I don't believe it till I really do see it, and we get a real source. I mean, I'm not saying the source is fake, but um, till I get like a real report that it actually will be a jersey in 2026. So I can't wait, and I will be buying one for sure. I kind of have some knockoff ones. I have an Iverson one as well, but yeah, it's a jersey you have to bring back. It does. It really is.
Yeah, it's definitely a jersey you have to bring back. I'm looking right now on eBay at some Iguodala jerseys, and I think I might have to cop one because everybody sees a logo. And when I love that you bring that up, when you see a logo as a kid, you resonate with a player a lot of times.
Yeah.
And you do that challenge on Instagram or TikTok. Who's the first player you think of when you see this logo? You look at the Patriots logo, it's immediately Tom Brady. You look at the Eagles logo, it could be a lot of different people it could be LaShawn McCoy, it could be Deshaun Jackson, it could be Reggie White if you're an older gentleman like my father, an old man. Uh, but in all seriousness, for me, it's Iguodala. That was the guy that really got me into the Sixers. Was that 2008, 2009 era of the Philadelphia 76ers. And the All Blacks just remind me so much of that. And with the 0 on Tyrese Maxey's jersey, that's going to come out so hard on a jersey. That's going to
Yeah.
look so clean.
It's a
So I'm buying my Iguodala jersey, I say, but it's like a men's small Reebok. But at the same time, maybe I'll just save my money for the future because I know I'm going to want to buy that Tyrese Maxey jersey when it drops.
yeah.
So it's definitely an exciting time to be a Sixers fan, an exciting time to be a Philadelphia sports fan. And I'm just glad that they're bringing back and tributing some greatness. Moving on to our next topic. So, the guy in the bottom of your screen actually, ironically, got signed today after I made this graphic, which sucks. But
Yeah.
the Eagles definitely need some more depth at safety and at linebacker, at a couple other positions. They still have some depth at some positions. Hypothetically, linebacker, you could say we're still fine at. We drafted guys N'Kobe Dean should develop and more. But KJ McCoy, what's some more or what's some less depth that you would like to see on this team? Maybe a potential player that you would like to see added, something along those lines.
Honestly, I'm fine with what we have right now. I feel like we're at a good place. I still feel like it's a little, I mean, not early, but I still feel like a lot of the players are still around right now. I mean, you just saw it. Jamal Adams, I mean, people weren't really trying, they weren't itching to get him. I mean, the Titans who just signed him today, I mean, they probably didn't have to fight too many teams to get him. So, I mean, a lot of these players are still around right now. They're veteran players. They're guys that are pretty much going to be 1 year deals. I think that's what's going to happen with Jamal Adams. So it just seems like it's just going to be like a 1 year deal experiment with him. But yeah, I don't really see anywhere where I feel like the Eagles are just in a really good place. It just really matters. I mean, they have the team. It just matters if all these players can mesh together. I really feel like we got something that's brewing. I mean, if you really put it in the right machine, I feel like I think you got something going. I really do. If that makes any sense. Um, but yeah, I do feel like this team's in a good place. They could maybe add some players, but right now I see this team as being a dominant force. I do. I really do. So it's just a matter of them actually working together. And it seems like, as we've talked about a couple episodes before, it seems like they're starting to work together in the off season. A lot of them are hanging out with each other, which we were kind of a little skeptical about. But now it seems like it's kind of coming back, and that's a good thing to see. I mean, you see Jalen Hurts working with some of the younger players, and that's a really big move by him. I mean, it just shows his leadership. It shows that he wants to win. He wants to prove a lot of the haters wrong because he's got a lot of haters right now. I know that Nick Wright from FS1. I mean, he's just always hating on him, and he was saying some crazy stuff about him this morning. I heard they were going off about it on the radio. But I'll say though, people have switched their minds about Jalen Hurts as well too. I mean, Chris Sims actually switched his mind and actually said, "Hey, he's a top 10 quarterback," which is shocking to hear from Chris Sims's mouth because me and Dalton both know that this guy has been a Chris Sims has been a freaking clown, and he's always clowned Jalen Hurts when Chris Sims couldn't even freaking he couldn't even read a play that John Gruden was giving to him. He couldn't memorize it. I mean, there's videos of it. He wasn't a good NFL quarterback, not like his dad. His dad was a Hall of Famer for the Giants. But yeah, I feel like this team is at a good place. I don't really see them actually going for something. They could maybe go for a guy like, I mean, I think is Calais. No, Calais Campbell got picked up by somebody, but they could maybe get another defensive lineman to help out Jordan Davis. Maybe, I don't really know, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I think they're in a good place.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to see. I think that take about the defensive line, they're definitely going to need, I think, another edge. I don't think that they're going to have enough with these guys.
Yeah.
Edge is such a, I don't want to say violent, but like a injury risk position
Yeah.
with all of that hitting that you should just have more depth just to be safe. Same
And
thing with
we lost a
safety.
big
No
piece.
pun intended.
We
Huh?
lost a big piece by losing our edge in
Fletch
on Reddick.
and Reddick, yeah. Now
Yeah,
we
that's
added Huff. Huff should be
yeah,
hypothetically pretty good. So we'll see how that
sure.
looks. But I would like them to add another safety. I'm not sold on the safety train yet. So somebody like Justin Simmons that's played the game, I think could be a really wise signing for this team. Bring in somebody that can compete to start to win the job with Reed Blankenship. Don't just go out and get somebody that's like a plug and play guy when you need him down the line. Bring somebody in that can take the job because clearly the Eagles only seem to want to utilize Cooper DeJean in that slot position. They haven't even talked about or opened the can of worms of utilizing him at safety. So that's fine. If that's
Yeah.
how you want to do it, Vic Fangio, whatever. But at least show me that you have more depth at safety because I'm not convinced with just CJ Gardner Johnson and Reed Blankenship. And
And
even though Sidney
apparently
Jones is
Bradbury
coming
too.
back,
Apparently
Bradbury's
Bradbury
injured,
switched.
though, is the last thing that we've heard. I haven't heard
Right, yeah.
anything since then. So hypothetically, you really have Bradbury, or no, he's gone. I'm sorry. Blankenship,
Yeah.
CJGJ, and then Sidney Brown, who I do think could compete with Reed to take the job. I think
Yeah. He did
Sidney
just put
Brown
up
is
like
a
20
really exciting
put up
player,
20
but I
yards.
would rather them bring in somebody else just to be safe because they're gonna need it. Like, look at the impact that somebody like Rodney McLeod had on the Eagles Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
That secondary was built to last, whether or not people want to admit it or not. I mean, it was a lot of times Patrick Robinson, Malcolm Jenkins, Rodney McLeod, and then Jalen Mills, believe it or not, was playing corner. So the Eagles had that depth. They were ready for when something happened. So I would like them to bring in somebody that could start so that then Sidney Brown can develop in the back burner. You know what I mean? Like these
Yeah.
other guys don't have as much pressure because they're going to be in that big game next year. They're going to be in that moment. And I don't want them to be sorry. So I'd rather the Eagles put all their chips in and just go for it.
Yeah, I just saw too that Quandre Diggs is still a name
Ooh,
on the table as well.
shit. I would love that. I really
He's
like
still
Quandre.
yeah, he's still on the table. I mean, that could be a name. As I said before, I'm not too worried about the position. I mean, I know that Reed Blankenship isn't he isn't the I guess you can say the premier safety for this team. Obviously, I mean it's CJ Gardner Johnson, but I mean he's the other safety. So I mean I feel like he's not the usual safety you get. I mean usually you don't have a white safety, but hey, you know what? He led the team in tackles last year, so I think that's why they're keeping him. That's why they believe in him. I mean, they believe in his skill set. So I think they really do think that he can be the starting safety for this team. So hey, I mean, if they think he can, and if Vic Fangio thinks he can really work with him, then you know what? I say go for it. Um, but I don't think Howie is thinking too much about the safety position right now. I think he's thinking about some other positions, and we'll see where his head really goes because you just never know with Howie, which is sometimes a good. Well, it seems like it's been a better thing than
It's
a
good when we
bad thing.
make trades with other teams. It's
Yeah,
not good as a fan.
yeah, it's not good as a fan. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, Quandre Diggs is a name that I just searched up. That I mean, I searched up free agents in the NFL, and it said that Quandre Diggs is a free agent. So, Dory Jackson was also a name that just popped up as well, which would be okay. But yeah, it wouldn't hurt to have a veteran safety. I don't think the veteran safety would be starting though. I think the organization believes in Reed Blankenship. So I just think this guy would just be fighting with not actually physically fighting, but like fighting for the position with Reed Blankenship, um, or just being a mentor for him. So I mean, we'll see what happens though.
Yeah. Yeah. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. I know we can't do the comments live because, like I
Yeah,
said, we are pre-recording this. But going into our last segment, so if you guys haven't seen on Hard Knocks, well, I'll just roll the clip.
All right, so I just talked to Ed Barry, and I think just mulling over this, the right thing to do is let you test the market and see what your value is. I don't want to do the franchise thing or all that stuff again. I don't want to go through that. We've both been through that. You know, if you really want to be a Giant for life and you're interested in staying here and coming back, just see what your market is and then have Ed come back to us and we'll see if we can come to an agreement.
All right, I appreciate that.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Can you give me your word on that, or you're not going to give us a chance?
What do you mean? Like circling back?
Yeah.
I mean, I already told you where I want to be, so.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do that. We'll go out and see what the market says. I think it's the right thing to do. I love you, man. I appreciate everything you did for the organization. You know, the 2 years I was here, and I'm not saying we're not going to get something done, but I think it's right if for some reason it doesn't work out that.
Talking about fucking
yeah.
it with a PH. I mean,
Oh,
Joe Sheen snubbing Saquon Barkley. I think got a little bit smug there. Thought that letting Saquon Barkley test the market, no way that nobody pays a running back. And that smooth, slippery criminal, Howie Roseman, is right there to slide in. How are
yeah.
you feeling about this?
That was honestly, it was hard to watch when I first saw that clip. This wasn't the first time I saw this clip. When I first saw it, it just was really just the way he was like, "Yeah, I really don't want to do that whole franchise thing again." What he means by franchise thing is franchise tag. When you franchise tag a player, so he didn't want to go through that, and it seemed like Saquon didn't want to go through that either. But the Giants have dug this, and I was telling some Giants fans a couple days ago about this. The Giants have dug their own hole, to be honest. And I know some fans might get mad at me about saying this, but I don't really care. You had about 8 years, 8 seasons to build an offensive line to help Saquon, but you didn't. You didn't do that at all. I mean, you drafted Daniel Jones, who you believe in more, which makes no sense at all. He hasn't proven anything at all. He's proven that he's going to be a bust and that you're probably going to release him or trade him or draft another quarterback next year. So, I mean, if you really believe in Daniel Jones, then I don't know what the heck is wrong with you, but something is. You're taking some kind of weird drug. But yeah, it's honestly sad because like they had a chance to. I mean, this guy wanted to be a Giant for life. But honestly, though, it's a business at the end of the day. He wants to be a Giant, but then all of a sudden, they got this new GM, and the GM just stabs him in the back. He totally did. I feel like he totally stabbed him in the back and was like, and then after saying that, like, hey, I don't want to do the franchise thing, it just sounds annoying. And then he says, hey, do you do you have our do you have our word or something like that? Or it's like, do you have my word? It's like, what? Dude, like you kind of just like pretty much were just like, yeah, I just want to like let you like search the market, see what other teams got for you. But like hey, you still want to be a Giant? Hey, like even if we give you a um, an offer that's less than other teams, we give you a smaller offer than so the Texans and the Eagles. You still want to come back here and just go through the same bull crap that you went through with the team believing more in Daniel Jones and paying him more because they think he's the franchise of the team, which when Saquon was there, he was the franchise. He was the franchise of the Giants. I mean, you got to say that. You got to realize that. And I know a lot of Giants fans, it really
When
does bother.
Odell left, definitely.
Yeah. It
Like, when
bothers.
Odell left, it was
Yeah.
only him. I see your
Yeah.
point. He was the
Yeah.
whole
It
franchise
really
on.
was. Because as I said before, they really didn't build this team and they didn't really. Here's the problem though. If you want to get mad, Giants fans, about Saquon leaving, you should be mad at him. You should be mad at the organization, as I said before, for not building an offensive line, for not believing in Saquon. I mean, they said they believed in him, but they obviously didn't because they paid Daniel Jones. It didn't prove anything. They didn't add more depth to the offensive line. They didn't try and grow the offensive line. They've had a problem with the offensive line for the last 10 plus years. I mean, they've had a crappy O line. And Saquon, his potential could have been so much better if you just got a better offensive line. I think the Giants would have been a much better team. They would have wanted some players, some free agent players would want to come to New York. I mean, because it's New York, and they would want to play there. But you see the kind of organization that it's starting to become. And I'm not saying it can't make a 360 flip. It totally can. But right now, it just seems like, I mean, this whole Hard Knocks thing, it really does show the backstage and the insides and the outs of the offseason, which is crazy to think. And I mean, also giving us the access to the actual phone call. I mean, that's pretty crazy to hear that. And I think Saquon he has that eye of the tiger in him right now. And I think he honestly picked the Eagles because they gave him the offer. I mean, they gave him the most money. And also, he wants to play them 2 years. I mean, he wants to play them 2 times a year and show them each time, you guys screwed up. You paid the wrong dude. You didn't believe in me. You believed in Daniel freaking horrible, freaking idiotic Jones. Bonehead Daniel Jones. I'm sorry, Daniel Jones fans, but he's a bonehead. So yeah, that's where I have it, and I feel like it's disrespectful what the GM did, but it's also a business. And you know what though? Thank you for giving us Saquon Barkley because honestly, I think it was a great move for the Eagles, and they saw him right there, and they said, Howie Roseman, he pressed the button. I mean, he got his phone out, and he went to work, and he made a deal, and he brought him back here to Pennsylvania. So it's awesome. Even as a Penn State fan, it is awesome to see Saquon Barkley in an Eagles green. And I know it makes Giants fans so mad, but you can't be that mad. As I said before, you just can't because the Giants didn't help him. They believed in Daniel Jones. So that's the problem. You can't blame the Eagles for wanting to go get Saquon when he's unhappy and the Giants are disrespecting him. So you can't really be mad at that. I know they're still going to be mad. They're not going to listen to me. They're just still going to be mad, and they're going to be jealous to be like, "Oh yeah, Saquon's going to suck for the Eagles." But he might be good though because we have a good offensive line. Just because we lost Jason Kelsey doesn't mean we're going to suck. So that's my point on it. Sorry for the long rant, but I just have to get that out.
All good. Yeah, I think when he saw how much this team invests in the offensive line and not past, present, like present too, like they keep doing it with Landon Dickerson, with Malata, with these expansion players that are coming over. Like it's literally Stoutland University. Like it's a program for breeding offensive linemen.
Yeah.
And I think any running back should be excited about coming to Philadelphia. Any running back, whether they're getting paid a lot of money or a little bit of money, any caliber should be excited because it's going to be a compliment to their game playing behind an offensive line like we have. So, yeah, you pretty much took everything out of my mouth except the only thing I had to say to do you want to be a Giant for life? That's got to be the worst fucking sales pitch I've ever heard, ever. Joe Schoen.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would ask does anybody really want to be a Giant for life? You could tell that Saquon Barkley was just fed up with losing and being a loser. And the Giants maybe were a good franchise a couple years ago, definitely throughout the 90s. They have fallen off ever since the boat picture. Odell left. They have been non-existent. They went to the playoffs maybe twice since then. And each time they got a win against the Vikings once, but like, cool, you beat the Vikings. And since then, they pretty much haven't done shit. So that's all I got to say about that. Fuck the Giants was pretty funny to see. I don't have anything else. I don't know if you do, KJ, other than that. If you guys haven't, like, comment, subscribe. Chris should be back next week.
Yeah, he should.
I don't know. Will you be here on Saturday a week from when everybody watches it, or will you still be on vacation?
I will not. I will still be on vacation. I will be in Antigua. So that's where I will be with the family. So just on a little family vacation. But I'll be back in the next week after. So don't miss me too much. All right, guys? Don't miss me too much. But yeah, that's why I insisted on doing this.
Well, that's good because we don't have a 2-week hiatus then. It's only one for everybody. So Chris should be here next week.
Yeah, Chris should be back, and he's going through the whole moving process and everything like that. So, I mean, that's always something that you gotta deal with. So, I mean, we're becoming adults, obviously. So, it's an adult thing. So, moving out of
congratulations to Chris as well. So he's doing all that tonight and this weekend, and we'll see him soon. We'll see KJ soon, but that's all we got. Appreciate you guys as always, and have a good rest of your weekend if you're watching Saturday morning or any other time throughout the weekend.
And stay safe, guys. It's hot as hell out there. It's hot as hell.
More.
I'll be back like the Terminator.